All right, welcome back to us. We are at the auto shop again, as you can probably tell by the car on the left behind us. It's not ours, don't worry about it. We're over here with my Subaru. Oh, so today, if the camera will adjust to the light, there we go. Today, we are replacing the air intake and reflashing the computer.
Yay.
So, give me a second and we will show you what we're gonna be looking at. All right, so obviously we have the engine right here, for those of y'all who know absolutely nothing about a car. This bit right here that goes from the manifold, or the intake manifold, to the airbox is the air intake. This is what we're replacing, because this has this weird air motor sound tube thing that goes into the engine, and nobody needs fake sounds in their engine.
No.
It's either all motor or nothing.
That's right.
We're going to take this out and this out, and we're going to replace this with a slightly larger and better shaped air tube for flow that goes into there. Now that will also require us to reflash the engine with a different tune, which I already have, because thanks Open Flash Tunes. So, let's get ready.
Chuck, what are you doing? What is that in front of you?
RTFM. Read the freaking manual. I'm smarter than your average rutabaga.
Woo! Chuck, what do you got?
I think it's some sort of Viking musical instrument. Oh. This is my Perrin Air Inlet Tube.
Ah.
Look at that. Look at that girth.
Look how shiny it is.
Look at the diameter.
It's shiny, shiny.
Yeah. So now I got to find my parts. I got to take these clamps off.
All right. You ready to get started?
Maybe. Let me find my tools.
All right.
Okay. So, as for clamps here, these hose clamps, there, and there, take an 8mm head. These two I could actually untighten by hand with the socket, so that's good. Let's see if this will come out. This we're replacing. Okay. This is the air sound tube that goes into the cabin.
Okay.
Don't need no fake sounds.
No, no fake sounds.
This one took a 10mm. Now we should be able to. This is just a pincher clamp, so we undid that. We should be able to wiggle this out. Careful, don't break that plastic.
Yeah, be gentle.
The hell is that? Probably some sort of resonator. Well, you wouldn't think, I mean, on an exhaust, they put like little resonator tubes like that to kill some of the drone and whatnot, but I didn't expect it on the air intake. I'm gonna take this other clamp off and see if I can take it off from this side.
Let's see, if you wiggle it, it'll come out.
All right, so we've got the little vacuum lead in here. Thanks, Melissa, because I thought this thing was permanently attached to the old one.
It just needed a gentle hand.
And we've got the new grips on here. I could use the old ones, but these are new and shiny.
You like new and shiny.
So,
all
let's
right.
get this back into place. Ooh, it's a tight fit.
That's what she said.
Mm-hmm. Get on there. Ooh. All right. That is on all the way around.
You're making your dad proud today. He loves it when you geek out on car stuff.
You mean he loves it when I'm not a
tech nerd?
A nerd.
An anime nerd. He only loves your tech nerd and your nerd stuff
when he breaks stuff.
When he breaks stuff.
All right. Get that. Come on. Walk it back down. There we go. All right. It's a 7. Gotta make sure I get it in the right spot. All right, tight enough it won't come off, but not tight enough to crush the plastic of the air housing. This would have been a good time to take this off and replace the air filter if I needed to, but I've got one of those K&N filters in here, and they say they're good for like 70,000 miles, and I got like 5 on it.
How many miles?
Like 5. 5,500, something like that.
5 miles. 55.
5 miles.
You've driven it more than 5 miles, my dog.
Ow, ooh, hot.
All right, stop burning yourself. You're better than this.
Engines are hot. Go figure.
That's the quote of the day. Engines are hot.
And the helpful thing about the way this engine is set up, let me get this tightened up here, is that they were smart enough to put the MAF and the airflow sensors on the parts that you don't replace. Some of them, they're on this air housing, and you've got to pull the MAF sensor out and put it into the new housing. It's not that hard. It's like 2 bolts. You just take it out, you put it in the new one, but it's easier if you don't have to do it at all. I'm not sure I'm entirely in the right spot. Ow. Engines are hot.
I thought we discussed that one already. Did we not have that discussion already? Or are we just still engines are hot?
Just a little bit.
Just reiterating the point.
Okay.
Okay, so
we good?
yeah, that part we're actually done already. Hey!
Yay.
That is the increased size air tube replaced.
Okay.
Now the only thing I got left to do on this part is I've got to reflash the computer, because with the increased airflow through this tube, the engine computer should learn it and recalibrate it for it, but the company gives you a chart that you can, if you can edit the tables, which you can do with the Open Flash Tuner software, you can go ahead and put in the correct values for this air tube, and I did that. So
Yay.
we'll get to that part in a minute.
Okay.
Next, I got to do this air tube cap.
What's the air tube cap?
So the rest of this air thing, I got to pull this off. This hose goes down in there somewhere, which I've got to unplug. And then there's a little plastic cap that they sent that you just wedge into the hose so that it doesn't blow air into the cabin.
Okay, that sounds fun.
Yay.
Yay.
Let me get ready for that.
All right.
So once again, one of my previous things has kind of made this more difficult. My air oil separator is right over the hose that I need to get the clamp off of.
So does that mean you're going to have to take that out?
No.
You're just going to have to wiggle your way into it?
Yeah.
But we were working smarter, not harder, Chuck. BRZ owners are all like, no, with your BRZ, you always work harder. So what you're saying for future people is if you're going to do the air oil separator and the, what's that called?
What's what called?
So this one is the new thing we just put in.
This is the Perrin Air Intake replacement.
If you're doing an air intake replacement and the air oil separator, you should do the air intake replacement first and then the air oil separator?
Probably, yeah.
Okay, there you go. We have a plan for future people. This is going to be a car debacle.
Everything's always a debacle.
Chuck's debacles. We can make a whole channel on those.
Everything I do is a debacle. I'm pretty sure it's just a family trait.
You learned it from your dad, right?
Yeah.
You learned it from Gramps?
Come on.
Or as your mom would like to say, it's the Whittington curse.
Why is that not moving? All right, so for the sake of truthfulness to the instructions, from where this is mounted and it goes down into there, the instructions say you're supposed to pull this clamp, pull this hose off, and then use this rubber clamp on the end of this hard plastic piece so that these bits will stay plugged in the engine bay where they're at. Well, I couldn't get it out and I gave it a good yank and the whole thing came out. So at the end of it, at the end of the whole shebang is this little plastic piece that goes into a little alcove in the bottom of the passenger floorboard into a little rubber grommet. It's where your air sound comes in. So we're going to cap that off. That's literally all that takes. And then I'm going to lift the car in a minute anyway because I wanted to look under it because I've got a rattling sound that I wanted to find. So I should be able to just plug that back in from the bottom side of the car. So we've got the air thing removed. Let's not leave tools in the engine bay. We've got the air intake in place. We've got the vacuum line reattached. Nothing had to be taken off the air box. I've got that one rubber grommet I gotta find that fell down into the floor pan down there that I gotta replace. And other than that, I think that's all the stuff I need to take out.
Let's get it up and see if we can't fix the rest of it.
All right. All right, everybody, we got the car up in the air. So now we're gonna put this in the right place. So, you got to get under here, behind the metal plate. I've taken the cardboard plate out and this little cutout right up here is what you're looking for. Now we can't really see it because this is kind of hard to get to, but there is a little grommet on the inside of there. If I can get my light on it here, and you just see if I can find the hole without looking at it. I think, there we go. You just plug that in there, and ta-da, good to go.
Yay!
Yay! All right, so I got the underplates back on. It's a mixture of 12 mil and 10 mil nuts. One thing I did want to point out was this. So when we moved into our new apartment, the parking area, or at least one of them, has little concrete ramps that you go up onto, or slopes that you have to drive up. And I tried to go up one of them and heard it scrape and let out of it, and yeah, it tore through the fiberglass wrap on my exhaust. So fortunately, I think I still got some of the exhaust zip ties, those steel zip ties that you put on there. I'm gonna have to cinch that down. Hopefully the wrap on it is tight enough that it doesn't come apart. But we've got all our stuff in place. We got it all back up. We're gonna bring it down. I'm gonna flash the engine computer. We're gonna see if it runs.
Yeah.
All right, so I've got the computer plugged in. I'm gonna not push the clutch in. Yeah, not push the clutch in, hit the start button twice so it goes into ACC mode, power on mode. And tuning. All right, we want to write. All right, so we want the stage 2 4.03 Perrin. I've got two of these. One is where I edited the idle level and one is not. I think the bottom one. All right, why is it? Oh, there we go. Touchscreen's a bit. All right, so now we're writing. When this part finishes, we'll turn the car off for about 20-30 seconds, power it back on into ACC mode, and you do the throttle from 0 to 100% a few times to help the engine computer relearn the throttle position sensor. All right, everybody, we have done our flash. We've done our hopeful throttle position learning. Let's start her up and see how she sounds. Well, sounds fairly normal so far. Well, we're idling a bit high, but that's probably because the engine's still got to learn. Computer said let it idle for about 45 seconds to a minute, so we're gonna let it do that and then we'll tidy everything up. So far it looks like success.
Unless it's a debacle.
So otherwise, this is the end of the video. Like, subscribe to the internet stuff. If the car blows up, we'll let you know. Okay, so a quick note on the car video here. I would like to point out that afterwards, I did have to roll back the tune that I loaded into the car. So the numbers that you get from the manufacturer to edit the airflow table or air sensor table or whatever it is, I'd have to go back and look it up. It's been a minute since I did it. I'm guessing is to modify the levels in the stock tune. So with the open flash tablet, and I was already using an aftermarket tune because of my exhaust system, which is more free-flowing, a slightly larger diameter. I was using a tune for that, and I'm assuming that that also already made allowances for the increase in airflow, because that tune with the changes for that air intake started off pretty good, but as it, as the computer does, it learns as you drive. After 2 or 3 days, it started getting where it would suddenly start surging and rocking, and I'd either have to let off the gas or slam on the gas to power through it. And I did not think it was running well. So I rolled it back to the regular tune that I was using before, and it is running great. So there's a thing for you. Always check and see if you're already running a tune when you add something, whether or not the tune you're using already accounts for that or not. So have fun, play with your cars, try not to break them. We'll see y'all next time. Like, subscribe, do the internet thing. Y'all come back around.